Primate's Memoir. This book is about author's life and time during his days in remote Africa. He was a young researcher doing studies of baboon behavior in Central Africa. And boy, this book is so well written. I never expected that I'd come to know about so many unique experiences. How much we don't know about our fellow human beings, about their history and biology, where they are coming from, and what fundamentally we are up to. Robert Sapolsky, the author of this book, is my all-time favorite author. I loved his previous book, Behave, Biology of Human at Our Best and Worst. In this book, I loved the way how he switched between his observation of baboon behavior, how their hierarchy worked, how their stress worked, how their socio-biological changes happen with time, to how people works, how we compared with animal behaves, gets stressed, gets angry, goes to war, kills each other and loves each other, grooms each other. How distinctly different and complicated in unique way we are, and yet how similar and predictable we can become. There were so many unique, wonderful and interesting experiences the author has shared of his days in Africa, like funny stories of local villagers' perspective of World War, and some account of civil war in Africa, and an incident of local tribal woman who went wild and ran amok and tried to kill the author. And the author described this incident in a very funny way, how he never expected such near-death experience, even in darkest corner of wildest fantasy. And there was an interesting, funny account of local villager Sam Valley versus elephants. That was the funniest part of this book. And then author describes his days in endless desert, where he couldn't find anything to eat except some dried tamarind, and how much grateful he felt upon tasting a sip of mango juice, and how much he cried after tasting it. That kind of stories gives us much needed perspective. Then there were stories of baboon, how they lived among themselves and their individual behavior in their camp, which strategy was more rewarding for their survival. And there were explanations for why some of the most selfless, altruistic, caring and nice behaviors under some circumstances are highly rewarding behavioral strategies to follow, instead of plainly becoming vicious and rotten. And that is interesting to know, how that observation is very much relatable with us humans. And then there were some interesting facts about our misconception of certain animals' behavior in story of redemption of hyenas. Like, we always knew that hyenas are scavengers, but that's not fact. And at last, how connected the author becomes with baboons, and how complicated things had become with baboons, how a man-made plague started to infect author's baboons, and how much he tried and wanted to save his friends. This part gives us deep understanding of how our own survival strategies are, and how corrupt a human can become if some self-interest is not served. But author gives us some hope at the end of this book about some ideals of progress. Overall, this book is a perfect read. Everyone should read it. 5 out of 5.